Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this WESIS webinar with Dr. Rebecca Zen and Dr. Rajan Kunjberry from DeVry. My name is Rashida Clements, and I'm the Business Development Manager at Women in Cybersecurity. Before we get started with today's presentation, I'd like to give a brief overview of the WESIS organization. WESIS is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. We often go by our acronym WESIS, as in We Sisters, because that's exactly what we are. We're a global cyber sisterhood. We offer a range of initiatives and skills development programs for all career levels. Additionally, all of our job openings from WESIS strategic partners are available on the job board year-round. To learn about WESIS programming efforts, you can visit wesis.org and select the Program tab for a complete list of our programs. We want to take a moment to thank all of our strategic partners who fund the organization year-round. Our Tier 1 partners are Akamai, Amazon, Bloomberg, Cisco, Ford Motor Company, Google, Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, Palo Alto Networks, and SentinelOne. We encourage you to ask questions during today's talk. Please drop them in the question box below and we'll answer them toward the end of the presentation. And if you have not subscribed to our newsletter, please do so. Please go to our website and hit the subscribe button in the upper right-hand corner. And with that, I will turn it over to our presenters for today.
So welcome, folks. Welcome to this presentation on how do you use AI in SOCs, right? I think we probably have heard of AI lately. Things have been kind of very dynamic with AI. We can, everybody's talking about it. And it seemed like based on what I have heard from the news and newspaper, that there is quite a possibility that a lot of these SOCs job will disappear because of AI automation. Now there's some truth to it, and it's not based on what I am seeing from a different perspective, from an instructor perspective. AI can do so much, right? It's not going to replace an analyst. We do need the analyst. AI will help us proceed, or at least save time, or give us some lead, or on how to investigate issues that come up in SOCs environment. I think it's Rebecca. Do I the one change the slides here? Yes. Okay. Why AI matters in SOC? Well, if you're familiar with AI, which I think you do, in traditional AI, we have a lot of alerts. I mean, you see firewalls, you see how many alerts we get on a daily basis. Sometimes these numbers can reach in the millions, right? A whole day, if you look at what is coming from your IDS, IPS, they get pinged from all over the world. And a lot of these, from all these pings and these traffic, comes from some automation that hackers or adversaries would tend to use. So we get a lot of alerts. How do you triage and figure out which one is good and which one is bad, and which one I need to investigate? That can be very difficult. So AI team face alert fatigue and massive data volumes. So how do we handle this? So AI can automate repetitive analysis tasks. We can triage things. We can look at, okay, this is coming, or let AI tell us that this alert is coming from an automated system. Maybe the AI will be correct, but at least we have some guidance of where the alert is coming from. We can get AI to do a lot of the heavy lifting, the lifting that we as SOC analysts uh, will take a lot of time, 24 hours, even longer, to be able to triage them. LLM, which are large language models, help analysts rapidly summarize, and we'll see that in our demo, contextualize and explain complex security findings, which sometimes may be very difficult for new AI analysts or AI analysts that have been on your job for a couple months or so. It can be very difficult. Okay, AI improves time and operational efficiency. Notice that a lot of times this alert comes in, you want to react very quickly. To triage them may be difficult by hand. So let AI do what it's supposed to do and tell us where the issues are. And that's not very, that's a fairly simple task. It's not a complex task. And when I demo it, you're going to see it. It's a fairly simple task that AI can look at the logs and the PCAT file and tell us this is where the issues are. I think on this one, traditional SOC challenges, millions of, I think we said that already, millions of logs generated daily. And we're talking about millions. I mean, we need a lot of people to actually have to triage these millions. A company like Verizon they probably, I think we saw some statistics before about how many millions of logs do they get on a daily basis. Also, there's tons of false positive, right? False positive is very, very problematic. So you get an analyst that chase a false positive, and after a couple of hours of searching, they come back and say, "Oh, this is a false positive." It's bad moral. You get really tired of chasing false positive. Manual packet malware and alert analysis is resource intensive. We need a lot of people to do this. Phishing investigation require repetitive effort and difficult to correlate our events, and we're going to look at that again today in our live session. How do we correlate firewall log, IPS log, and other security tool log, and figure out what is important in these logs? I think we have a quick, Rebecca, do we have a quick question here for
Yes,
our folks?
yes, we'd like to hear from our audience. Um, and a poll question will come up in a few seconds. And please feel free to share your thoughts with us.
Oh, anytime now.
Yeah, well, it takes a few seconds. The idea is that we want to hear from you, right? What's from your perspective? What SOC tasks you'd like to leverage AI for, right? So that's, and I know we're from different job roles, etc. Let me see. Is it maybe it's up already?
I don't see it
We
on
don't
my
we
screen.
don't we don't see, but I have a sense it's up already. Let me see. Yes, actually, if you click on the right hand side, the pull tab, right? I'm looking the bars moving, so I'm
Oh,
not. I
hold
think
on,
yeah.
hold
So
on. We're
I
there.
can read. I can read the answers out, right? So responses they're still coming in. But right now, the number one task our audience would want AI assistance is log analysis / SIM investigation. That's 43%. And the second on the list is threat hunting, 20%. Then after that, we have phishing investigation, malware analysis. That's a tie at 12%. And 9% of us responded PCAP/network traffic analysis. So
That is excellent. So do we continue? So I'm going to continue here, Rebecca, unless
yes, so that's
you have
exactly
more.
some of the
Yes,
demos today, right? Sure.
yes.
Thank you, everybody, for your feedback.
So how AI and LLM support hacks? Well, as we saw in the question that you in the poll that you said we needed to be able to analyze log. Again, you probably have seen it. You probably have a tool like Splunk and so on. It's the quantity is amazing. I mean, we generate so much log on a daily basis, right? Yes, it is good to generate logs, but we have to be able to use it the way intelligently and to figure out what is the machine trying to tell us. And that's not always easy if you do the log analysis manually. We need to do some threat intelligence. I mean, we need to, if we don't, most organizations do not have one source of logs. We have our cloud services, we have our on-premise services, we have our different data center services, and all of them about generating logs, and different machine, your web server generate logs, and it is in the millions on an hourly basis. I'm not even saying on a daily basis. So we want to be able to look at them and build some intelligence from them. If we find something, we want to resolve it quickly, right? We want to reduce that MTTD. In the conventional SOC, that was sometimes we take days, right? We want to be able to detect and actually be able to respond, if possible, as quickly as possible, as not to interrupt the business, right? Or have a malware just propagating all over the place, and we don't know how to respond. We have not been able to detect that malware, right? Another place that we do need help from AI is AI assisted malware and packet analysis. Can we tap into the network traffic and actually look at the PCAT file and figure out, well, is this okay, or is there something that is not okay there, right? And again, we're going to look at these on an individual basis and how to do them on an individual basis. But in a real life environment, you probably will have a workflow. We're going to check, let AI do this here, and bring your mitigation here, and create all of this in an automated fashion, right? Most of you probably have heard of agents and agentic. We can individually do each of these tasks and attach them to a task list. Okay, and of course, management wants to see the report, and we can even automate that report. So log analysis is probably the place where you're going to use AI the most, right? Log analysis. And I think this is kind of me repeating myself on and on here, but yes, do not try to analyze your log manually. And you probably have tried that in the past. In the old days, you could go to a Unix machine, go to the syslog and the log directory, and look at syslog, and boom, and you see all these things, and you have to run a grep to look for particular values, and that's not easy. That takes a lot of time, and a lot of times what you find may not be what you are actually looking for, right? Or the real alert is hidden somewhere, and hackers are very good at that. AI can identify a lot of these very, very easily, right? AI can do all of this at the click of a button. Again, it is, it's the user of the AI tool that can decide how efficient you want the output of AI to be. An example is, this is when we are not talking a lot about prompt engineering here, but you do need to think about how do you do prompting to optimize what you get from AI, right? Prompting is uh, sometimes you start out with a very fancy prompt, and then you can, the AI model does not provide you what you want, so what you adjust the prompt and so on. That can be time consuming as well, right? To get the right value or the right data from AI requires a little bit of calculation, and 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 there's not an easy way to do this except practicing, and practice makes perfect, right? You'll learn your environment better. You will know how to prompt the AI model based on your environment. I do not recommend going out there taking a course in prompting. A lot of prompting has to do with your environment. You need to be able to customize this prompt based on your environment. Okay, so we are slide 11. Do we have a poll here, Ms. Dr. Zena?
No, next
No.
one.
Next
Yeah,
one. Okay,
after.
very good.
Wait a second. Is it 11?
I'm at 12 now.
Yes, we do have a poll here. You're right. Okay, you're right. So we're gonna have a second poll question for the audience before Dr. Kunjberry's live demos. So we like to hear from the audience, if offered, which learning format would you prefer for AI in cybersecurity skills? It could be a short workshop, right? It could be a industry certification or a degree program. So you will see the poll coming up. I see responses coming in. Let's give it a few seconds. Okay. Because there are so many opportunities, right? Options out there. And then we can't do all of them, right? So let's see. So what right now on the board in the window, I see hands-on labs is the first one at 70%. And then self-paced online courses second, 12%. And then short workshops, webinars, that's 8%. Then we have another 8% that's industry certifications.
Of course.
Right.
Excellent data.
Thank you.
Excellent data. Now, let me go back to our presentation. It's very interesting. This data that you are providing us kind of help us, guide what we need to do next, right? It define our path as well, because as you probably know, I mean, I think I hear about AI at least 200 times per day, right? On the news, newspaper, my kids ask me about AI. So it's everywhere, right? AI is, uh, it's going to be with us for a very long time. I mean, you probably are hearing today the big conversation about data centers to be able to, and the need for new sources of electricity to power these data centers. This is a big topic of conversation that I think the industry is going to be looking for folks who knows how to optimize energy usage in data centers. So that's something to think about. Well, let's come back to our LLM here. What we need to also remember, I didn't mention that, and I should have. Just uploading your PCAT, your log, and all these things into an AI model can be problematic, right? Let's say I find an issue in my environment that's it has all these logs, and I said, well, I'm going to jump on ChatGPT here and figure out I'm going to feed it this log and let it tell me what is wrong. The problem with that log has proprietary information. The minute you take that log and you feed it to ChatGPT or Anthropic and Gemini, now you are making that data available to the public. Now, these vendors will train your model, their model on your data as well. So you may see, somebody who you don't know anything about now all of a sudden is using the same strategy than you are with for a remediation and so on. So you have to be careful. It's not it's not safe to take your company data or network traffic and so on and just paste it in an AI model. That's not recommended, or you should not do that, right? Because you're putting, all these data to the public. It's public domain all of a sudden, right? The best way to accomplish a lot of this is to use local LLMs, local AI models. Now, there are quite a few of them out there that you download them. You don't need to connect to the internet. Olama is an example published by Facebook. You download it, you install it on your computer. You can even unplug your computer from the internet, and the data stays there. Yeah, Olama is just one of those examples, right? Just a reminder about being careful when you up. It is so attractive to just take your data and dump it into, like I'm going to do, but I'm going to use simulated data, uh, dump it in an LLM, and now all of a sudden, my boss calls me in and say, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now you jeopardize all our, company secret." And I don't want to be the one to be called in, right? Maybe I'll let Dr. Zhang explain to upper management why did she let me do that. But for now, let's continue, right? We're going to look at PCAT file here. PCAT. Uh, this is probably an evolution of the many of the recent models. In the past, they wouldn't let you ingest PCAT directly. You had to convert it into JSON file or text file and so on. Now I can just take a PCAT file, dump it into the LLM, and the LLM will read that PCAT file and identify, some command and control traffic. If the traffic exists, it has the ability to do that. Identify DNS tunneling and beaconing, detect, bad encrypted traffic or weak encryption, right? And uh, it can do, this is just a short list. There are quite a few of things that we will see a little bit in the lab here in the demo that you can use AI to leverage this, the capability of this analysis very quickly. But remember, you don't want to be too dependent on AI as well. And also you have to keep in mind that what is AI? Let's understand that definition of what is AI. AI for us, for doing a lot of these things, are algorithm that learns from data, right? The algorithm will learn from data. If it has bad data, you're going to get bad output. And that output, it has a probability. It's not always 100% accurate. You know, many of them, probably ChatGPT, and they are 99, 95, or between 95 to 99%. They will hallucinate. So they will give you bad output, right? If, for example, I feed PCAT file, a PCAT capture into ChatGPT, and all of a sudden ChatGPT tells me the remediation is to block an IP address, and I jump to on my firewall and block that IP address without realizing that I just blocked Microsoft.com or Cisco.com, and if you are a Microsoft environment, you are a Cisco environment, you should never block these IP addresses because they send you your updates. They do a lot of things for you. So this is where we do need the human interaction. The human, before you take this mitigation strategy, you need to have a pair of eyes that look at it and see, am I doing the right thing here? Is this a valid IP address? Should I block this country? Let's say you decide you're going to block the UK, and you didn't realize it that your boss at that time is visiting the UK. All of a sudden, now your boss cannot get to anything on campus or on the intranet, right? So you have to use those judgments before you use AI or the output that you get from AI. Excuse me. Okay, these are more examples from our PCAT. We're going to look at suspicious TCP session. I think one of our biggest example will be TLS. Let's suppose you connect to a website, right? It comes back and drop the connection. So your client cannot connect to that server, and is just drop it off. They call SOC, they call the NOC or SOC or help desk, and they want to know, why is it that I cannot connect to this website? Right? I mean, what do you do? Well, most people would just, open Wireshark and start investigating, look at packets and see where is it dropping the SYN, or where is it creating that FIN that just say terminate the session. Excuse me again. We see the packet, the hello, the exchange of protocols, and now all of a sudden it hits you with a FIN, which means terminate the session. What is causing this? Right? Imagine how much PCAT capture, how many packets you have to look at in order to be able to see, a FIN, to investigate a FIN that the client cannot connect to that server. And we're going to look at that in a second. Let's see. Are we on slide 16? Oh, I did something wrong here.
No, we'll keep going all the way towards the end. That's
Okay.
gonna be. There's one more poll question, right? But
Okay.
will be later. Yeah.
Yes. Another area where we use AI a lot is for phishing email detection, right? This is, again, what we're going to show you. What I'm going to show you is just, I'm going to cut and paste an email in ChatGPT, and it's going to come back and tell me, oh, this is definitely a phishing email. But you can build an application that make this automatic. You put it in front of your email server. That every email server that hits your application, goes to a Chat GPT. A similar, not necessarily Chat GPT, but a similar tool like Chat GPT that will investigate that email. And if it finds out that it is, a spam email, it'll drop it automatically, right? You can create that workflow that will allow you to do this without, you having to cut and paste that email in a LLM or an AI model. Okay, and we will look at this email, but again, we don't have a workflow. We don't have enough time to show you how to create a workflow, but we're going to create some flags here. We're going to take an email and analyze it through ChatGPT. Okay, again, we're using ChatGPT because most people, when you talk about LLM, what comes to mind is ChatGPT. But you can use any LLM to do this. You can use Gemini. You can use Anthropic. In fact, I like Anthropic a lot better than ChatGPT. To me, it does a lot deeper analysis. DeepSeek is also one of the best one out there. I don't know if you're familiar with DeepSeek. It's a little bit harder to use, but it does a very, very thorough examination of the data, right? So if you're thinking about adopting one, it's good to pick one, learn as much as you can about it, and start using it. And you'll develop your skills, and there are things that you'll be able to do that will look amazing. Is it your turn? I hate to do this, but I'm back to slide 16. So I'm assuming it's Dr. Zhang's turn to do her poll
The
again.
the poll will come later. The slide numbers changed.
Oh, they did. So we are not
Yeah,
on slide number 17.
we are. Yeah, now it's the live demo time.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So for this live demo, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to swap screen here. I'm using ChatGPT, right? And I am in ChatGPT. And one of the files that I have on my computer, and I don't know if you are, let me show it to you first. So I don't know if you can see it. If you cannot see it, I will come back and stop sharing and show it to you a different way. But if you go to the website called Bad SSL, badssl.com, it has a lot of test cases to test your skill set with packet captures from these sites. So one that I've downloaded and captured using Wireshark is one that has an expired. It has an expired an expired certificate. So what I will do here, I'm going to tell the Chat GPT, please. Again, you can use. You don't have to use what I'm typing, but you can use anything you would like as far as prompt. So you could just use something as simple as analyze this packet capture. I hope you can see what I'm typing for problems. Okay. With connections. I know this is kind of broad, but let's try this. So you can, what I'm going to do, I don't have a file uploaded. I'm going to send this here. to ChatGPT, and now it's going to tell me, well, upload your file. So I'm going to upload my file here, just the plus. I'm going to add the file, and the file is coming from my computer. It is a PCAT, a Wireshark capture, and going to load it. Give me 1 second to get to it here. I'm on a different screen, and it takes a second, and the name of the file is bad SSL. So it's loading bad SSL. It's ready to analyze it. Well, it takes a couple minutes to analyze it, but you should. In Anthropic, it would tell you exactly what's going on, how the large language model is talking to itself in order to be able to analyze this PCAT file. But here for ChatGPT, it doesn't quite do that. It takes a couple of minutes at the most. Oh, here we go. So what I did, this is a generic, capture from Wireshark. I connected to the site, and I launched Wireshark, and it gave me some data, and I saved it as bad SSL.pcat. So there is what it found. It says it gives you quite a bit of information here. So you can go through this, or you can ask, can you summarize the findings? And here we go. So this is enough. This may be enough. So it's saying the packet capture, so the client was able to reach the HTTPS server at the TCP level. So your TCP worked fine. There was a request, an acknowledgement, and so on. So we transferred. Now we are about to transfer data. It's coming back looking at the certificate. However, the secure TLS session failed shortly after establishment. So it's a TCP fin, which means finish the connection, so nothing was transferred. You look at this here, you will notice what could be the cause of this: an expired certificate, an invalid certificate chain, and so on. So now from a SOC perspective, all I need to do is check the certificate or the path of the certificate on the server, right? As opposed to if you look at the packet capture itself, it is pages and pages long, right? And for you to pause that packet capture would take you a couple of hours to do that. Okay, let me close this and come back. So you can look at, this is just an example, how quickly we are able to figure out the issue between a client and a server connection, right? We can even look at, the packet capture in detail. We can go focus on, if you are familiar with Wireshark, we can parse that data and look at the different issues that exist in the PCAT file itself. Okay. The second one that I want to look at is, I know I'm running a little bit out of time here. I'm going to look at a log file. So this one is a log file that I'm going to add So it's going to, I just added a log file. This, I need to give it the context. This is an event file. If you're familiar with event viewer, this was captured from an event file. Please, I always use please, I don't know why. Please investigate possible issues in the event viewer file and provide a summary. Okay, so it's going to analyze this event viewer file that I got from the internet. It is not from my computer. Remember, as we said before, this is confidential information. So run it here. And again, it may take a couple of minutes to come back with an output. So it's going to say working. I wish you would give us the detail of what it's working on, but to do that, a DeepSeek will do that, or Anthropic will do that, but ChatGPT doesn't quite do that. Give it a second here. Oh, here we go. So it says I analyze the Sysmon event X file and identify activity consistent with suspicious remote task scheduling and PowerShell lateral movement behavior, right? Threat hunting. And we can you simplify? Oh, I can come down here. I know you don't want me to read all of this. Can you simplify the findings and help on how to mitigate the issues? Notice that you don't have to write complete English sentences because there is something called vectorizer. So every word is compressed. A lot of the words that you see in your prompt is simplified for important words, like for example, findings, mitigation. So the rest of them are dropped. So what happened? It tells you system use PowerShell, Windows task, remote Windows communication. So you can go through it and possible risks and actually recommended mitigation. Restrict, limit PowerShell access to administrators only. That's very simple to do. Enable PowerShell logging, block unsigned script. Use constrained language mode, disable PowerShell 2, which is problematic. So let me close this here and come back to the talk. Okay. So do we continue with the demo, Rebecca, or are do you have something for us to do at this stage?
Well, we'll go back to the let's go back to the PowerPoint deck. If you share the Chrome tab.
Okay.
And
here we go.
Right. So we can move on to the future, to talk about future.
So we have only 1 minute, but I don't want to start another lab unless you're okay with me doing another demo. But I think you needed some time for question and answers, so I will avoid doing that for now.
Right. Let's move on to next one. That's a good idea. We have about 14 minutes left. Yeah. So the next slides will be future of AI-driven SOC operations. Dr. Kunchbury, remove, yes.
There we go. So the future of AI-driven SOC operation. So we have to be careful here. Hallucinating is a real problem with AI, right? So the model does not give you the right output, or it will give you an output. And I've seen this many, many times. It'll give you an output, but when you match it with the problem you're trying to solve, they are disjointed. You need to, the human factor here is extremely, extremely important, right? Although we hear constantly from the news that, we won't need analysts anymore. But au contraire, I think we're going to need more analysts now than ever before, because we're going to try to mitigate a lot more of these cyber attacks and so on. So we'll need more AI analysts. So can we take all? I was able to show you a couple of minor things. There are automated tools that will take your email, analyze it, mitigate it, delete it, send an overview to the boss, do all of this in a workflow, right? By the same token, we can take a PCAT file and send it to a workflow, and it will analyze the PCAT file, figure out what is wrong with it, develop a mitigation, and deploy the mitigation for you. So the question becomes, what are we going to do, right? I mean, am I contradicting myself? But each of these steps requires human intervention, right? We can't do so much that we want the AI to do, but at the same time, we want to validate what the AI will do, right? Human validation is very critical to have a successful SOC uh, with with AI help, right? It will learning about AI, if you're in a SOC job, is going to be a must, right? That's what's going to distinguish you from other AI SOC analysts, because you know how to get things done much faster, and you're going to amaze your boss as look, I was able to look at a 200-page PCAT file and was able to tell you that it has an expired certificate in that PCAT file. Manually it is impossible to do. I can guarantee you that. The other thing that's going to be very important when dealing with using AI in our own SOC is the capability to proactively create defenses against attack, right? If we build these systems, based on our environment. We have, every company has their own environment, they have their own workflow, they have their own data, they have their own server. How do I build a customized solution? If you go hire Microsoft, you go hire Cisco, very likely you're going to get a generic solution to your defenses. But if you build AI by learning what is in your environment, use your environment as the data to train the AI model, I think you're going to be better off building predictive cyber defenses, right? Detect things before they happen. And to do that, you can't do that without agentic AI. You need to have these flows, right? You will build these, these automated tools that will actually take that PCAT file, break it into little pieces. If it's 20 pages long, and let's analyze one page at a time and see if we can focus or find things. AI will help us do. We talked about this earlier. We have millions and millions of records of log entries in our log management system. How do we go through them and look at them and take out the bad ones and keep the good ones that we need to act upon? AI will do. It is very good at triaging this, right? So to end the conversation here, AI will not replace human, at least in the SOC arena. I think AI will help SOC agents, SOC analysts do their job better. So I better leave it here. I have 10 minutes for questions, uh, and well, I
Yeah,
think
that's
we're ready for your questions.
sure. Let's do this. Would you move on to the next slide? We're gonna have one more after this, one more poll question. Then we'll have about 5 minutes for questions.
Okay,
And
here,
then no, previous one, the previous slide, please. Yeah.
previous one. Okay.
Yeah, because I want to spend a couple minutes talking about career advancement, right? Now, as AI becomes more integrated into security operations, the way we prepare for cyber security careers is starting to change as well. Now, strong fundamentals still matter, but the day-to-day work of a SOC analyst, as Dr. Kunjbury mentioned, is beginning to look different. Now, we are already seeing this with enterprise tools like Microsoft Security Copilot. These tools help teams review alerts, summarize findings, connect related events, and support investigations more efficiently, as you have heard, right? Now, the analyst is still making the decision, but AI helps organize information and reduce some of the repetitive work. Now, this shift is not limited to the SOC. AI-related security work is also showing up in areas like governance, risk, compliance, auditing, and policy. So these skills can be useful across many cybersecurity roles, not just one specific career path. As the field changes, we're also seeing new certifications and training options emerge. So these programs help define, teach, and validate the AI security skills that employers are looking for. Right? So that's why applied learning is so important. It's one thing to talk about AI in theory, but it's much more meaningful to work through realistic examples, as Dr. Conjbury mentioned today, with logs, phishing investigations, PCAP analysis, and AI-assisted workflows. So for career-focused educators, this is an important and exciting opportunity, right, to help learners develop strong cybersecurity fundamentals while also preparing them for the AI tools and the responsibilities they're likely to see in the workplace. Right? So now we'd like to, again, ask the last question. I'd like to hear from you. That's our last poll question. You will see it on the screen. Just please, let's take a moment to respond to the poll and let us know what type of future learning opportunities will be most helpful or interesting to you. So let's look at it. So let me see what we have. Go to the poll. So I'm going to read this out loud for us. So the first, number one, is AI for SOC operations workshop, 50%. And then we have two tied second options. That's cybersecurity certification preparation and advanced threat hunting labs. That's 20%, right? Numbers are changing a little bit. And also AI prompting for analysts. We have 21% of us. So that's very, I would say that across the four categories, right, it's quite evenly distributed, 30% to 20%. It's a very good, that means we have a broad range of interest, right? So very good. Thank you for your feedback. So now we have 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left. Let's, can you see the questions in the chat, Dr. Conjbury? I have three questions.
I don't.
Yeah. Well, let me read it. It's fine. So the first question from Radha: what controls are typically implemented to prevent exposure of sensitive security telemetry when using AI in SOC workflows?
So, of course, the sensitivity of the information. If you want to, you know, protect sensitivity, it's encryption. There's no other way, right? But what is also very important is important now. We're getting to a point where AI can make decisions about encrypted data, right? So first of all, don't if you don't encrypt PII and so on, don't send it in, right? If you send it in, we are very close. In fact, those AI tools that understand cryptographic data is going to come out sooner or later. I expect by the end of this year.
Okay. All right. So the next question is from Megan. What about something like Copilot, where you pay for a tenant, or Splunk AI assistant?
So Splunk is very good at it helps you develop your SPL, right? It will help you create that query for you. But remember, Splunk has a lot of data coming in. It will do, I don't know the last time we looked at Splunk, it's still very cryptic, right? It's not, it doesn't provide you a nice little summary of this is what you need to do. It detects it, and you have to go to one next level to figure out how to mitigate the issue that it finds. But with AI, Anthropic, you can actually ask for mitigation while it's analyzing the data, right? So it makes it more efficient. I think I'm not saying not to use Splunk. I'm saying use Splunk in combination with an NLM.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So I have three more questions. Let's see if we can get to them. Gigi asked a question. How might attackers adapt their operations to counter SOCs with AI-enhanced workflows?
Well, there is a whole area of machine learning called adversarial machine learning. So once you have trained the model, right, and the hacker uh, get an API to the model, you can train that model to make the wrong decision, right? For example, instead of finding the presence of a malware, even though the malware exists, you can trick the model to say no, the malware does not exist. So uh, these hackers have been trying to do this. Uh, if you don't protect your model properly, do not control the API to the model, that can be problematic. So they can
Mhm.
poison the model, make the model change the decision, right?
Okay.
If a credit card that was stolen, the AI model comes back and says, yes, it is stolen, but a hacker can poison that model to make it tell the user that no, that credit card was not stolen.
Mhm. Okay. Well, we have two questions left. I really want to. They're very interesting. So if we could, let me just read them to you. The first one is what percentage can we rely on AI to analyze and hunt for threats?
Well, I mean, most AI, it all depends on the training if you get an agent, you get an AI agent and say, okay, I want to I want you to go detect uh, you know threat in my malware or whatever else in my environment, it will come back with an answer for you. Yes, it may not be 100% accurate, but if you train the model on your data, the
Mhm.
data that you generate in that environment, then you're going to get it better. You're going to get up in the 90s, 99, 90, excuse me, 90, very close to 99% accuracy. But we have to be careful when we say 99% accuracy. in cybersecurity that when 1% inaccuracy can be very disastrous, right? Can be very disastrous for an organization. So
Mhm.
even though we want these models to be, way up there in accuracy, uh, you still need that human intervention. Don't don't over rely on the model,
Right,
right?
right. Okay. Yeah, one last question from Sydney. Would you consider it secure to upload log PCAP files into LLMs where your organization has an enterprise level license?
Well, it depends which one, right? If the model is not touching the internet, then of course, yes, there are models like that that do not use, they are pre-trained, uh, like Olama is pre-trained, you download it, or you have a model that your company built they train with their internal data. Those are the models that most companies. Verizon does not use ChatGPT. Verizon uses their own model that is trained on their own data.
Well said. Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Punchbury. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We will be happy to keep the conversation going after today's session. If you have any questions, ideas, or would like to connect, please feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. With that, thank you so much for your time and have a good rest of the day, everybody.